It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, I am wearing, I think, what is going to be an appropriate shirt for today's conversation. I think Scott kind of summed up my general original kind of buying mentality of locomotives, but the real reason for today's stream is that I've been running the same two locomotives for the last couple of months. They've been rock solid. I'll show you what those are, but I've got a bunch of locomotives in cases. I really want to get those locomotives out on the layout and get them onto the programming track and maybe actually, put some DCC addressing in them. Dave, thanks for noticing. I am now 2 weeks out. And yes, I am feeling much better. Still have a ways to go, but I am definitely feeling better. For those of you that missed it, I do want to highlight there is a small line down here at the bottom that says, "I have too many trains, said no man." Which side's it on? Said no man ever. So you got to make sure you read the context. Dennis, I'd love to help out. Let me know any questions you got. I more than happy to answer them. So I think this is sort of an unboxing video, I guess. And based on the number of locomotives I've got sitting next to me here, this might turn into a long stream. We'll see. We'll see how long I can go or how long people are interested in. Dennis, I haven't bought any more locomotives yet, but I will say that I guess the other reason I'm doing this is I've seen some recent locomotive releases, and I'm kind of like, oh, those look really interesting. And then I start thinking, wait, do I have that one already? And I couldn't remember if I actually had that one or not. So I was like, I better go through my locomotives and make sure that I don't actually have this locomotive that I think I don't have and that I want. But man, new locomotives keep coming out. I gotta admit, I'm a little bit of a collector as well. So I speaking about pre-orders, I almost forgot about that. I do have pre-orders out there, and they're all locomotives. So there will be more locomotives coming. Barry, long story short, no. If you go back last week, I talked a little bit more about it. If you're wondering where I was, if you didn't see last week's, I had my gallbladder removed. 2 weeks out from that surgery, but things are going well. So yeah. I've had a spreadsheet a couple times, and I stop or whatever. JMRI, talking about switching ops, yes, I need more physical space. But one thing I do like about using JMRI for Operations Pro is that you can throw all these in there, and they kind of help keep track of different things. There is a poll going right now. Yeah, Henry, I actually have a steamer that I can show that I think I got for about 140, 160. That actually is a much better unit than I thought it was. I didn't think it was going to be very good, but when I've tested it, it's actually run really, really well, and it actually sounds pretty good as well. Thanks to the 10 people that hit the thumbs up. I know we haven't done anything yet, nothing to warrant a thumbs up, but let's get started. The first thing I'm going to show is that I do have the subway track. A couple videos ago, I showed I've got a, now I'm blanking on what it's called. Is it an RDP? That sounds wrong, but that might be what it is. It's right. Yeah, RDC. Jeez, my brain just like completely. I have a New York Central RDC, a 2-unit on the subway track. I also have some other items. Yeah, I don't know. My brain was just not working. I also bought some other trains for that. One of them that I need to build, which is a 4-car R62. But one of the other trains that I got, and I'm not going to pull this one out today, just because I do have the RDC up there. But one of the other trains that I got that I do want to run is this New York Central Doodlebug set. This does not have DCC decoders in it, but that subway track that I've got over there will do DC or DCC. So that all works out pretty well, but I really like this 2-car set. I like the zebra stripes on the front of it, and I just think this will be a fun thing to run when I'm not running the RDCs on the other side. I do also have, I think it's a Pennsylvania Railroad RDC as well, but it's only a single car that I can run. But yeah, I kind of have a little bit of a thing for the Doodlebugs as well. They've got some really cool history and just some really interesting different things as well. Andrew, you are a bad influence, but I appreciate it. The Heath Needs More Trains Fund. Yeah, it is, yeah. There will be more trains coming. Oh, there will be. There will be. No stations in place now, but I will have about a 2-car station at both ends of my subway. The one end's on that side of the room, the other end's over on this side of the room. But no other platforms. We'll talk a little bit more about passenger stuff when I get to some other locomotives, but let's jump in. Let's start with what are my workhorses? The two locomotives that have been my workhorses on the layout that anytime anybody comes over, this is what we generally use to run the layout. They're Cato. I used to know how to say it. They're Cato locomotives, N-scale SD70 Aces. One of them is the train that I got from the YouTube community, actually, which is this one here, the 1943. And then I've got the We the People, the 1111. I really like these. They run very, very well. I haven't really had any issues with them on this layout. I mean, every once in a while they pick a switch. Every once in a while there's a small issue, but in general, just really rock solid. Oh, interesting. Just really rock solid runners in general. But my layout really is mostly a you have an SD70 Mac. I wonder, is that, I don't know who makes that. The reason why I want to get some more locomotives on the layout, though, is that really at the end of the day, my layout is a branch line. And I am not a prototypical modeler, but I'm trying to apply some prototypical aspects to the layout and to the operation. And you really just wouldn't have these 6-axle locomotives, especially, you know, SD70s, doing the switching on this layout. They would be they would mostly be 4-axle locomotives. So I believe the remainder of the locomotives that I'm going to show, I believe, are all 4-axle locomotives. So Brad is here, another peanut gallery member. Oh boy. Cameron from Caboose 121 is the one that printed another locomotive that I need to put together and add to the collection that we won't be showing tonight. But anyway, so these SD70 Aces, love them. Absolute workhorses. Just really great. You do have to swap the couplers on them if you're going to use them for switching. One of the sets of couplers I have at the right height. The other set of couplers is at the wrong height. I don't remember which one I switched and which one I didn't. So at some point I'll have to go back through and figure that out. But those are the two workhorses. So I thought might as well start there. These two are 6 axles. Everything else is going to be 4 axles. What did Mr. Pictovid say that he's kidding? Oh, 42 months, an amateur citizen, I need a life. Well, you know, it's good to take breaks and pretend to have a life, but we all know eventually you all come back, right? I mean, that's the cycle of the way things go. The next locomotive that I want to pull out is a very special locomotive in my fleet. This was a locomotive that was originally a Burlington Northern GP30. If you've been around for a while, you've seen this locomotive before. This is the custom painted locomotive that I got from, or I should say that was painted by John 2618. Did a fabulous job on did a little bit of light weathering on it. But this is one of the units that's definitely going to work the south side of the layout. So I want to get this one on the layout. This one is actually programmed. Before John sent it back to me, he did get the programming done on it. I just realized what I should do. Let's actually take the foam out, right? I think we're probably at the point where I'm not going to get kicked out of this room anytime soon. So we can pull the foam out. The number on this locomotive is 1973. The reason the number on this locomotive is 1973 is that is the year that I was born. So that's how that came about to be. I do have decals to do 3 more locomotives. Not sure when that's going to happen, but I do kind of have piles of trains here and stuff, piles of locomotives to make that happen. But yeah, this is a good one, 4-axle. So yeah, at what point you won't get kicked out? Well, I mean, this is a leased space, so you know. And yeah, so the idea, Bob, with the 6 axles is yes, they are for the road, but the reality is I don't really have a road on my layout. The north side of the layout is kind of just the north of the side of the branch line. I do have a north staging yard that theoretically would use a 6-axle, but the north staging yard is right here, and the north yard is right here. So when you pull a train out and pull it back to use a 6-axle, I don't know, but I've got this guy. My goal is to run everything as a dual. I don't, what do you call it? A consist of 2 locomotives. So I don't know what I'm going to run yet with this GP30. I've got some ideas, but keep that in mind as we go through everything. I want something of a similar, you know, power and style. At one point I was going to partner this up with another switcher, but I think that's a little bit too small of a locomotive. I've got a -8, I think, that I might pair it up with, that might do pretty good. Is it called a double header? I don't know if it's called a double header. Dave, this is a GP30. This is an Atlas. An Atlas GP30 used to be this Burlington Northern 2243, but yeah, so this is one that I really need to get on the layout, and it is programmed to work with the proto throttle. I just need to figure out what I want to pair it to. The other thing that I haven't figured out yet, as far as pairing the locomotives, is I don't know whether I want to do like a CV19 style consist, or if I want to do a command station style consist. Being N scale, I don't see myself really taking these units and you know, taking them to other layouts. So I don't know that I need to do a CV19 consist, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No, so I haven't speed matched anything yet, so that's going to be a part of the process. Part of the process is I will get them all configured, DCC set up for the layout, set them up for the proto throttle, decide what they are going to be consisted with, and then I'm going to speed match everything so that everything is the same speed. So if you're at notch 4 on, you know, one switcher, it'll be the same speed as on another switcher. Dennis, I think that would be a good show as well. I would like to see my process as well. I have no clue what that process is yet. So, Dave, are you saying 1973 is the year after you graduated high school? Yeah, I know. So the next trains I'm going to pull out, I've got these three units. Let's see if this one will pick it up. So I've got these 3 units right here. These were all originally purchased with the intention that these were going to be my 3 Riverside transfer trains. So these are Alco S2 locomotives. They're all Maine Central. It's 301, 302, and 303. At this point, though, I don't know that these are going to be what I paint. I've kind of decided that, where is that one? This one here. So here's 301, I believe. We put this guy here so you can see it. My thought was that this is kind of an East Coast railroad. The Maine Central would not have run on this main line, but my thought was kind of just that, you know, Maine Central's East Coast. So, you know, I'll probably just run these as Maine Central units. So real quick, I've got the other two. Oh, I zoomed in so far now you can't even see them, but there's 302, here's 303. So real quick, I am just going to pull these other two out of the box and get them up on the layout. 301, 302, and 303 all have been run before. These were some of the earlier switchers that I got. I was buying a bunch of another brand, and when I decided that I was going to put more of my money into decoders that had brake functions, I decided that I was going to switch to Atlas locomotives because they come with ESU sound decoders. So these were some of the first switchers, Atlas switchers, first 4-axle units that I purchased. So let's get this other one. It's your world, run where you want. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, I don't know of any DCC controlled, but you can do, as you mentioned, magnets. I am not planning on doing any magnets on this layout. My plan for this layout is if there is a remote engineer, that there will be a local conductor, and the conductor will do all of the coupling and uncoupling while the thinking and putting cars on the layout is harder than I thought. But the conductor would do all the local switching. So these are 3S2s, all Maine Central, all East Coast. That's coming up. That's coming up as well. So one thing I do want to mention is, so far on the layout, you see that there are 2 6-axles layouts, and now I've got 4 4-axle locomotives on the layout. So I'm going to pull out the next locomotive, but my question for everybody in the chat is, how many trains do you think I can run on my layout at the same time? So if I had enough people here and enough, throttles and everything, and I wanted to have an op session here, what are the maximum number of trains that I can run on my layout, knowing that I've already got 2 6-axles and 4 4-axles pulled out, and we'll go from there. So this one is one that I bought, I don't know. Sometimes I buy 0 without having a wreck. I actually have 2 boosters. I have one on each side of the room, so it is split in half. I'm not really sure why I got this train. I was watching a lot of those guys up north, and I make fun of Flying Crow a lot about KCS being a CP. So this is my kind of, I feel like I've made fun of KCS and everything so much that this is kind of my my homage to up north. This is not the only one though. But the other reason I got this one was I'm trying to buy like pairs of things, and what I'm not sure about with the layout when I start making consists is I don't know if I want to run, like, should I run 2 Maine Central locomotives together, or should I split up the Maine Central locomotives and run like a Maine Central S2 with this CP rail S4, you know, and like, should I mix it up in that way to kind of, I don't know, make things a little bit more colorful, a little more interesting, make it a little easier to know like what the lead locomotive, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Sounds like you can run 15. Didn't realize there was all that much N-scale interest in the US. Staying in Japan got me back into model railroading. Just got back to the state with a pile of sets. Yeah, I'm in New York City, and I could have done an HO scale switching layout, but I kind of decided what I wanted to do, and N-scale was just right for me. It's just, you know, it's just the way to do it. Talking about tandem locomotives, so I'm going to run everything with 2 locomotives. We are not including the ceiling loop. John, stay around. There'll be some coming up. Some people are mentioning the amperage on this layout. It's not so much about the amperage of the layout. It's more just the size and the amount of trackage that I have, that, you know, there's enough space for one train to get past another train and all that kind of stuff. One more thing about the N scale is very popular too, is I don't know that I can pull it out. I've got an N scale locomotive from the 80s. And you can kind of see the, you know, the quality in N scale from the 80s. And you compare that to the quality of one of these trains back here, and it's night and day. I mean, the quality you get on an HO and an N scale locomotive is, I mean, yes, there's more detail in HO scale, but there's so much detail now in N scale that I just like it. I just like it. Forgive me, Ethan, I haven't tuned in a little bit, but the layout is a point-to-point or a loop. So the layout is a point-to-point. If you go to humancity.org, there is a web page that actually has the layout on it. I think it's called like N-scale layout or something like that. But yeah, it's a branch line that basically goes from this side of the room around to the other side of the room that's kind of behind me over here, and, you know, a bunch of industries and things like that. So the next set of locos I'm going to pull out is a group of 4 locomotives. One of them is a brand that people were already, not a brand, a livery, a railroad that people were already mentioning. 2 of these are GP40s, GP40-2s. The other 2 are C420s. But these are Pan Am, these top 2. And these are Long Island Railroad. And someone was asking, do I have any Long Island Railroad? These are the only 2 Long Island Railroad ones that I bought. There are a lot more road numbers. Part of me thought about buying all the remaining road numbers as well. But then it's kind of like I'd rather have some variety. So yeah, the Pan Am Railways ones I kind of got because I was always a big fan of Pan Am, the airway, the plane, the airplanes. LaGuardia had the Marine Air Terminal, which is a really cool Pan Am terminal. I just really think, I don't know, I like the Pan Am locomotives. So these are all much bigger locomotives. I do have kind of a mix of the larger 4 axles, we'll call them, I guess. So this, this being the GP40 being, the larger stuff compared to these S2s and S4s in the background. I think I want to keep, I think when I consist them, I'm going to keep kind of this, what I'm calling the larger locomotives together and keeping the switchers together. But another option was to, pair up a switcher and another. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. Pan Am Loco will blow the doors off the other locos. Are you saying that for the sound, or because you like the livery, or what's what is your sort of enjoyment, I guess, or whatever? Why are you saying that about the Pan Am Locos? Let's grab this other Pan Am Locos. So the other thing that I thought about doing, and when while I was purchasing them, some a little bit I thought of this, but what I did was I chose, can't see. I chose, as I knock things over, I chose one locomotive that was an even number and another locomotive that was an odd number. And my thought for the layout is that all, let's say, even locomotives, I haven't decided which yet, all even locomotives will point north and all odd locomotives will point south. So and let's say they're consistent together, you'll always, let's say, bring up the even number locomotive. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that or not, but that was one reason why when I was buying some of them, because they're made by Boeing. Yeah, now I get it. Pan Am I don't think I have any Pan Am box cars. Hello, Roy. Thanks for dropping in. Hope all is well with you. I saw an old Pan Am box car. Let's see, did he just say he can't see? Yeah. I can't see because I've got like cameras and stuff just in the way. It's not so much that I can't see for other reasons. But let's move these Pan Am guys back here. I do like the detail. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera, but the trucks on these Pan Am locomotives are also blue, which I think is kind of fun. It's getting a little harder to push with all these locomotives. I also don't know. I never really know whether a train is supposed to be long hood forward or short hood forward. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of research about that as well. My understanding is that different railroads ran the same locomotives differently. When switching, people would run short hood forward because you could see better. But when out on the road, you'd run long hood forward so that if you got into an accident, it would protect the engineer and the conductor. I don't know. Again, I'm not a prototypical guy, so that's the kind of details that I don't really know off the top of my head, or I should say, probably don't really even know at all. But what I did with these Long Island things, and you can see the MTA logo. But this is 225. I also have 224. You'll notice, as well as I get this other one out, that they are both. Yeah, they wouldn't say blue long. That's very true. They would definitely turn black. They would paint Fs on a lot of them to designate that, but I don't know that they all. I don't believe that they all put Fs on them. I think that was only certain companies that did that for certain locomotives, but I could be wrong. Look for an F at one end of the still, that would be the front. Yeah. But oh, so I guess I can ask. People here would know. Did they put an F on every locomotive? Because I did think that that was just a, not something that they always did. So 224s in the front, 225s in the back. You can see they are both two different shades of blue. Atlas does have another pair, one light, one dark in other road numbers. So I could theoretically get kind of another set. Oh, did the FRA mandate the F at some point? I didn't know that. Ah, interesting. All roads had to put an F on them thanks to the FRA. What year did that happen though? So the year of my railroad, again, not really prototypical. Some of these locomotives definitely don't fit into the year, but I'm modeling around 1968, 1970. So only on locomotives with a front end. Locomotives with two back ends didn't get an F, yeah. You're modeling New York Central. I'm sure there's an F on the engine somewhere. Like these, I don't see an F anywhere on these on either end. Usually it would be somewhere right in there. So I don't see an F on these, at least. I don't know if they just didn't put them on the models, or if they didn't, I don't know where to put these, or if they just, yeah, I don't know. Let's turn this around just for fun. Okay, so we'll slide those out of the way. I got a couple empty tracks here and there, so I'm trying to. So I'm going to answer the question now. Now that I've got, let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 4-axles and 2 6-axles. So basically I've got, let's say, 4 consists of 2 locomotives each. So this layout, the way I am planning to run it, the most I would ever really have operating on this layout at one time is likely 3 trains. So there'd be either, 3 trains switching or 2 trains switching and 1 in the yard or whatever. So there's likely to never be more than 3 operators in here. So far what you've seen, more than enough locomotives to run the 3 trains at once that the layout is basically designed to run and to operate on. So those are cool. What type of high hood? C420s are the high hoods. These guys down here are the C420 high hoods, the Long Island Railroads. I added an F to my CSX. I repainted end scale, so fiddly and small. Yeah, the F, yes, would be very, very, very small. Don Head, yes, it looks like you do trivia. Okay, so if you think I'm done, I've done about a quarter of the table that's sitting next to me. What is sitting next to me are the locomotives that I plan to mostly run on this layout. There's still a bunch of locomotives on the shelf that I'm not planning to run on the layout. So just so you can see it, just so if you don't believe me, well, I wouldn't believe me. So C420 Phase 2B high nose. Long Island 224. So if you want to look this locomotive up, it'll probably take you down a rabbit hole, and you can look up a bunch of other stuff. I'm finding a lot of the locomotives on my layout are Alcos. I'm planning on running 3 trains, which will be 6 locomotives. Is the kind of plan. But let's keep going. Being an East Coast Railroad, being in the New York City slash Jersey area. The next one that I'm going to pull out is a Jersey Central locomotive. I'm not sure what this locomotive is, though. It doesn't say on it, and I don't remember, and I'm terrible with this kind of stuff. So I'm going to pull this out, and somebody will tell me, hopefully somebody will tell me what this locomotive is. So this is my only Jersey Central. There was, I think, another 2 numbers as well. But again, my thought was to get a variety of these instead of just getting, 3 Jersey Central ones. So that's kind of what I did here. I'm looking to see. I can't tell if that's an F right there. I'll have to pull a magnifying glass out at some point. But that's the Jersey Central locomotive right there that you see. Yeah, Trainmaster. Is that what the locomotive is called? Is it called a... Oh, okay, so it is a Fairbanks Morse Trainmaster. So Trainmaster is the type. I was looking for some kind of like, some sort of weird code or something like that. So, all right, there you go. So it does say right on it, Fairbanks Morse Trainmaster. And the the locomotive that I think I'm going to run with it, this is a railroad or a livery that I started looking up. And the reason why I got it was because my understanding, at least, is this livery is primarily a branch line railroad in itself. So my thought is, maybe they loaned this locomotive to my branch line, or I thought it was kind of an appropriate, locomotive to pair up with this CNJ locomotive. But it's an RJ Corman -8. The other reason why I bought some of these -8s is that this is a 4-axle locomotive that Atlas has put, or at least my understanding is that there are, trying to get it out of here without breaking anything, that there are ditch lights on this locomotive. And I just thought that was cool. I like lighting. So yes, I bought an N-scale locomotive just for the ditch lights, but I also just thought it made a really nice pair to this CNJ locomotive. I like the, the color schemes. I like the red color. So yeah, I thought, I don't know, would they ever run together? No. 2-cylinder motor, 24-cylinder motor, 2 6-wheel trucks. Which are we saying has 6? Which of these is a 6-axle? Oh, this is a 6-axle. Boy, well, there you go. I didn't even realize that was a 6-axle. I screwed up. Well, maybe I won't be running that CNJ on my layout, being as it's a 6-axle. But I needed to have some Central New Jersey on the layout, so I just might be running it for something. I don't know for what, but for something. So let's get these out of the way a little bit. We'll move these 2 down here, because no, we are not done yet. We are still going. This is we still have a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, it is true. They are smaller 6-axles. The CNJ unit can run in either direction. Okay, there you go. Doesn't have the ditch lights. Yeah, some of them have ditch lights, some of them don't. My understanding is this RJ Corman one does. These, at least like on the outside, appear to be similar size locomotives, so I think it makes sense. Of course, there you go. Now they weren't coupling up for whatever reason. Okay, so after that, let's move on to some other locomotives. Now, these were probably locomotives in my story that I'm making up, that is barely barely based. Yeah, the dog always needs attention, always. The layout that is not based on prototype. My thought is that in 1968, when my railroad bought the New York Central stuff, that they bought some New York Central rolling stock. So in my story, these were two of the locomotives that we bought. They're GP7 phase 1s, 5608, 5609, an even number and an odd number to go with that, to continue that numbering scheme. These are, again, I like these little small, I mean, they're not S2 small, but these little small 4-axle. I'm 99% these are 4-axle. Now I got to look again because now I'm nervous that I screwed up once. So these little 4-axles, again, am I going to consist these together? Should I consist these, with something else? I'll likely consist these New York Central ones together, just because. I don't know why. But yeah, I like these guys, and we'll stick with it. What's the difference between phase 1 and phase 2? One of them has a 1 after the word phase, and the other one has a 2 after the word phase. Outside of that, I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if the phase 1 and phase 2 was the paint scheme, or if the phase 1, phase 2 was the if they did like a change, like if it was like a GP40-2 versus the GP40. I don't know if that was the difference between phase 1 and phase 2. I also don't know, like I just sat this down in front of this guy. What I don't know is, would they have run, if I consist these two together, would they run in this orientation that I have here? Or would they run in the other orientation with the two cabs closer to each other? These are things I don't know. These are things that I'm going to have to figure out. Okay, phase 1, phase 2, paint, logo, motor, drive ratio. At least according to Adam. Yes, so you're saying this orientation is correct as far as you know? Are you really on Heath's shit? Wow, Claude, I can't believe you're up this late. What is going on? What is going on with the world? Jason the Train Freak is here. Roy is here. Claude is here. People are coming back out of the woodworks tonight. It is, I don't know, I guess you start pulling out locomotives and people just like the excitement builds. I don't know where to put these two. I don't know where to put them. So I'm not running out of space on the layout. I do have a large engine area over there where a lot of these can be stored. I have 2 engine tracks down on that end. So I've got plenty of storage room, I think, on the layout. What I don't have is any sort of reason why I need to be running this many locomotives. I definitely do not have a need for this many locomotives. I'm kind of curious, the chat. Let's see. Do you have too many locomotives? 30%. That's a lot higher than I thought it would be. Says yes, I have too many. But 60% does say no, I need more locomotives. So it is an interesting split. I'll leave it up for a couple more minutes. There you go. Jason took a day off. Nice. Bringing out the steamers. Boy, if I don't bring out the steamers soon, we are never going to get to them. Do you want me to keep going with the 4 axles, or do you want me to bring out the steamers, or do you want me to just like show them? Should I just like start just like quickly showing all the rest of them? No, you did not miss the Illinois Central and the Southern Central. You did not miss those at all. New York City cabs close together. they ran long hood forward. There you go. So I guess I'm gonna, well, I don't know. Now I think Dennis from N-Scale Train Boy said one way, and now you said the other way. So I don't know now. Just because Dennis is asking, and I don't want Dennis to go to sleep without seeing them. I don't know what that means. There is one. I have a Broadway Limited pacemaker locomotive that I'll likely run on the layout with my pacemaker boxcars just for fun. But I do have another N-scale New York Central locomotive that I wanted to show. I forget who it was. Somebody was talking at the beginning about cheaper or more inexpensive steam locomotives. I wasn't sure about this one. I wasn't going to get this one, but Cameron from Caboose 121 said that he has this locomotive and it runs well and it sounds good. So I got it and I said, let's give it a try. It was cheap enough and it actually ran well and it actually sounds pretty decent. So it's a model power steam locomotive, DCC and sound equipped, New York Central, a 440 American. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to use this for, or if I'm going to use it for anything or whatever, but I kind of, it actually runs pretty well. And I was kind of surprised that Model Power is putting out a locomotive that is pretty decent. So yeah, I think this is pretty cool, pretty nice. So yeah, that's the one steam locomotive. Plus I do have that BLI. I'm not planning to run a lot of steam on the layout, just because. While we're on the kind of the oddball stuff, let me show a couple more oddball things that I got. This is a Tomix EF15. So this is a Japanese locomotive, but I got it because it comes in, trying to hold things. It comes in a New York Central paint scheme. It kind of looks box cab-ish. What I might do is just pull off the pantographs and pretend that it is like an old diesel something or other. The problem with this locomotive, though, is it's got a lot of axles. There's 6 axles here in the center, and then there's 2 more pilot truck axles on either side. So I don't know how well this is actually going to run on the layout, but I thought it was kind of, move my face out of the way. Oh, sorry about that. But I thought it was kind of an interesting locomotive. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I do have the, yeah. I do also have the box cab that Cameron from Caboose 121 printed. I would like to run some smaller switcher type things in the yard, especially down near the car float. So 2 of the other things that I have that, again, I'm probably going to run them in consist just because they are so small, and I just don't know how well they would actually run. Most of the stuff on my layout is DCC and sound. These are DCC only. I can't imagine putting sound in them. I imagine somebody did. But these are Bachmann Spectrum 44 tonners. And my thought is that maybe if I run 2 of them together, they can maybe do some of the work for the car float, or maybe do some of the, the yard work some of the work, so some of the smaller stuff. So I do have 2 of them. This is the Pennsylvania one, and then this is the New Hampshire one. Yes, both Northeast railroads, but I think there's one other color scheme I think that they make, which is I believe like a yellow one with some like red stripes on it. That's kind of more of like a maintenance of way unit, and of course they're not. There you go. So yeah, so if I line those up next to an S2, even the two locomotives together are probably smaller than an S2. So I kind of thought it might be, New Haven. Oh yeah, duh. Yes, I mean New Haven. Yes, it's late. But yeah, I mean to click on this one. 44 tonners are cute. I've had some decent luck with the Bachmann Spectrum. The small switchers, they've run pretty well for me. So let's run through a couple more. So as I said, 3 trains worth of locomotives. Here are some more items that I've got kind of paired up. On the left, this side here, are 2 Pennsylvania Railroad S4s. On the right are 2 Boston and Maine S4s. Kind of got the Boston and Maine S4s because I've got the Boston and Maine S2s. So I thought they'd make a nice sort of thing together. The ones in the center are 2 that I definitely want to run. These are GP40s. This is the first responders car, and this is the Operation Lifesaver. Let me put these other ones down for a second. You kind of can't see them because they're in the packaging, but the Operation Lifesaver one is gold. The 911 one is, red and whatnot. So I definitely want to run these. I think they're just kind of cool. Yeah, the early ones are. That is true. I agree with that. But the newer ones, I've just had a lot of, I've had good, positive experiences with them. So somebody was asking if I have any Rapido stuff. And yeah, I'm kind of going through this quickly. I don't know, maybe we'll unbox them next week. Maybe we'll program them next week. But I was watching, I think it was Mark from M&M Rails. And Mark was running a CN Tiger Stripe switcher. And I was like, sorry, I'm knocking everything on the ground over here. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. I would kind of like one of those Tiger Stripe switchers. So I ended up finding one. This is a GMD 1A CN Tiger Stripe scheme switcher. So I bought this, which is Rapido. You don't think I hit 20 what yet? 20 locomotives? I lost track. Are we up to 50 yet? No, if you give me a second, I don't want to count them. Do I have to count them? So I got this one as the first one, GMD 1A. This is 1433. Then I found this one, which is another Tiger Stripe, which is 1438. So then I had a consist of those. But then for some reason, I think I was watching another M&M Rail stream or something, and I saw this other paint scheme, which is also the GMD one, but the red cab. And I was like, oh, I need another one of those too. So I blame Mark from M&M Rails on all of these Rapido GM1s. He can claim that they're not his fault, but next time anybody sees him, you can blame those 3 on him. Passenger trains. Not really planning on running passenger trains, but I do have like some New York Central passenger stuff and whatnot. But one thing that I thought I'd run just because it's fun is, of course, some Amtrak stuff, way out of my year range or whatnot. But Kato came out with these P42s, so I ended up with 4 of them. I got 2 that have Loc sound and 2 that are DCC only. The thought being is that I'd pair one with sound with one without sound. Ended up with the Operation Lifesaver ones, Lifesaver ones. Two of the 50th anniversary ones, one of the Phase 3 ones. So I got a stack of those. They're all, I believe these are all 4 axles. I believe P42s are. Okay, so do people want me to count? I don't know that I want to count. Counting is probably a bad idea for me. But let's see. How many have I opened? So today I have opened, or at least that I have. So what do I have in front of me here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's 17 on the layout in front of me. I've got the 4 Amtraks. I got the 3 CN locomotives. I got these 6, I've got these 6 guys that I just showed you. I've got these 2 S4s that are also Bachmann Spectrums. I'm actually having oh, sorry, they're RS3s. They're RS3s. I'm actually having a problem. One of these, no matter what I do, will only run at half the speed as the other one, and I don't know why. I agree. Without John Schuylkill River Valley here, I don't know that I should be counting them. So the real reason that I don't want to count them is, I guess I had 17 and 6 that are kind of going to run on the layout. On the shelf back here, before I was buying Atlas locomotives, I was buying a bunch of BLI stuff. I've got 18 BLI locomotives up there. There are some are SD70 Aces, some are their NW2s, SW7s, and I mentioned I do have that pacemaker one back there. I also have a bunch of these. Let's see if this is one of the ones. I also have a bunch of the kind of, oh, where is it? This camera. I also have a bunch of these like Microtrains ones as well. I got the Microtrains Circus ones. I've got 2 of these actually. Solar System Microtrains ones. A couple of these different ones as well. Some of these I've put decoders in. Some of them I haven't put decoders in. I do also have a brass DD1, a brass GG1. The Doodlebug, it looks like, is a Spectrum over there. I do as well have I do have some Microtrains like sets that come with locomotives. Like I have a Halloween set that came with a locomotive. So you haven't seen 50N scale locomotives, but I probably do have 50N scale locomotives. But I don't know that we'll ever be running more than 3 pairs of locomotives on the layout at one time. So I don't, I have reset the locomotive back to factory. I have put the same CV setups on both of them. All kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, this is a pile of stuff. So I now need to get all of these on my programming track over there. I need to program them and get them broken in, and then decide which ones I'm going to consist with which ones. So I don't know, maybe next week I'll throw some trains in there and see if I can get them to run. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Could be one or the other. From the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity.